Hey guys, welcome back. Today you are looking at one of the newest listed patterns to Red Heart, or at least that I have noticed. This is called the Passion Star Flower Throw, and the pattern number is LW2407. This is an intermediate pattern, so you will need to know how to do cluster stitches, front and back post stitches, which are a form of rib stitching. If you are not familiar with these type stitches, I would advise you to learn those through my tutorials first, because this is a intermediate pattern and some of the parts are very tricky. So it does take a little bit of skill, and it is very important with your stitch placement with several of these rows. Now the throw measures 45 by 55, and we are just doing the motif only because it's very simple to join these. They are just joining them with a single crochet, and basically they give the instructions for that at the end, and you will just hold wrong side to wrong side together and just single crochet those together, and then you will just put your border on by doing your chain ones, your cluster, chain one and cluster, and that's how you'll be bordering it, and you will learn that as we end up going through the pattern. You will actually need to have let's see, the motifs themselves are 5-inch squares if you use the 5.5 millimeter hook, and it does call for 5 different yarns. And you see I only used 4 here because when it calls for so many yarns, I actually like to accent my motifs by using one of the earlier yarns that I used. So that could have very well been the white, the teal, or the turquoise. So I used the darker turquoise for that. So I actually only used 4 colors. So if you want to use 4, you want to use 3, you want to use 5, that is totally optional. And I am trying to scroll through the pattern and see actually how many squares that it calls for, and I'm not exactly seeing an amount. So, but you can pull your pattern up and you can look at the pattern there. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to say somewhere between 50 and 56 squares, maybe, give or take, just by the picture. And you're going to, like I said, you're going to be working in clusters, back post and front post double crochets, and it's just going to start from the center. Now if you see the center is very 3D, so is the flower, and there are total 8 petals, and you will do those 2 sections of petals in layers. So you'll start with one row is a layer of petals, and then the second row you build is also a layer of petals. Okay, so basically I have chosen to go with brown, white, pink, and like a flamingo color this for this square that we're going to work together. And I'm going to use the standard 5.5 millimeter hook. So gather everything you need here, and we will get started. Okay, so let's get started with our motif here. So we're going to start with the center part. So whichever part you want to stick up and be the very center here, that's the part you want to start with. So I'm going to start with my white just like I did before, and we're going to simply chain up 3. And we're going to join to that first stitch. Okay, now you want to just chain up 1 and find your center hole here. Then you're going to work over that tail, and then you're going to put 8 single crochet here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then you just want to join to the first single crochet, and you can pull that tail and go ahead and take that off if you've worked over it and get that out of your way. And now you'll have your 8 stitches for rounds 2 and 3 are the same. You're just going to chain 1, go back into that same stitch and single crochet around now, and you'll have 8 stitches once again. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and it will fold up a little bit on you. Okay, so now you're just going to join to the first stitch again. That was row 2. So row 3, you chain up 1 and do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now I'm going to just go ahead and flip mine. I want mine having the right side up, and I'm going to join. Okay, so that is all you're going to do for that center cone. Go ahead and fasten that off, and you can get those ends, that end wove in, and we will then start working that first petal. Okay, so our first petal ring and first round of this, you're going to use your second color, and I'm going to use the flamingo pink because I'm going to actually use this color for the last bordering round as well, so I want to use this color early on. So you want to join this color in the front loop of the single crochet from the last round. Okay, so I'm going to join it into the front, into the front loop, and it says you want to have the right side facing, so actually when you have it facing you, it's going to be right here. Okay, so turn to make sure you have your beginning stitch facing you. So if you have it facing you, this is actually going to be your front loop. Okay, alright, so now what you want to do is chain up 1, and then you're going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to be working down this chain. So you want to go into the second stitch from your hook, make a slip stitch. In the next stitch you want to just work a single crochet. In the next one you want to work a half double crochet. And then in the next 4 you're just going to double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's going to be your first petal for this row. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you want to skip your next stitch, and you're going to slip stitch into the front post of that next stitch on your center cone here. So just pull through. Now chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this is going to be our second petal. And now we're going to work down our chain again. So the second stitch from the hook you want to slip stitch. Next one you want to single crochet. Next one you want to half double crochet. And then you want to do 4 double crochet in a row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're only going to have 4 petals, so now you've got 2. You want to skip the next one, go into the next front loop, chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just work down that chain again. So slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and then 4 doubles in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, skip the next stitch, slip into the next front post and chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just work back down this chain. Slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and 4 doubles in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you're going to skip the next one on your chain here, and then you're going to slip stitch right into that bottom chain 1 of that beginning chain 8. And so this is what we have so far. So you have your 4 petals on your first round row. Okay, now you want to just fasten this off. And honestly, when I worked the first one, I left all the tails to the end, and that was really hard because there's a lot of tails. I would personally advise you to go ahead and weave these in per row. So I'm going to do that, and we will be back for the second petal ring. Okay, so now I've got my ends woven in. Now I'm ready to do my second petal ring, round 1. So I'm going to use my second pink. Now if you remember on this, just this previous row, we ended up skipping a stitch, okay? So now what we're going to do is work in those skipped stitches. And you want to make sure when you hold this, you hold it like you see me holding it. So what you want to do is find a skip stitch, like right here. You're going to join right into the first, or the front loop, just like we did on the previous round. Okay, and you're going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're just going to work the same thing that we did on the previous row with these petals with this one. So in the second loop from the hook, you want to slip stitch, single crochet in the next one, half double in the next one, and now work your 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now what you're going to do is go to that next skip stitch, which is going to be directly under the previous row, previous petal. So you want to go into this stitch, but working only into that front loop. Okay, so slip stitch, chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now just work back down your chain. So slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and then 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just have to be very careful with this project not to let it get all twisty turned on you, because that can really mess you up. Okay, so now go into that next skipped stitch into the front loop only, and single or slip stitch, chain 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and work down your chain again. So slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 3. So now we are going to work into this last one. So go right into that loop and slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so work back down your stitch, your chain here. So slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now what you're just going to do now is join into the base of that beginning chain 8. Okay, so just slip stitch. And now you have your 4 petals. You now want to fasten that off. Then I just like to tie my 2 ends together like that before I weave them in. And now what you're going to have is you're going to have your little center cone, and then you're going to have your 8 petals total. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the backing part, which is going to be this part. Okay, so that part gets a little bit technical, so this is where you do need to be very consciously aware of where you're putting your stitches. So now in the row we just completed, what you want to do at this point is you want to turn it over and in the stitches that we did just work. So you worked it in the front loop. What we are going to do now is in that remaining back loop is where you want to actually join this yarn. So if you find your stitch, and I will zoom in a bit just to show you what I'm talking about. If you're looking right here, which is where we joined, and you see the front loop, you're going to go right here into that back loop now. Okay, so you'll have 4 of those, and that is where we're going to be working. So you want to look real good and find the back loops of those 4 stitches. So I'm just going to pull that through into that stitch that I did just show you. Well, let's not use the tail for that. So just pull your yarn through. And now what you want to do is just chain up 1. Okay? And then what you want to do now is you're going to actually do a single crochet into the same stitch. And until you get this started, it's a little tedious, but make sure to work over that tail if you can do that. Alright, so now what you want to do is chain 2. And now find that next place you joined into that next stitch you joined in the front loop, go into that back loop, which is right there, with a single crochet. Okay, so you did your single crochet. So basically you skipped 1 stitch, and then you went right into that next back loop of that stitch from the previous round. So do that single crochet there into the back loop and chain 2. Okay, so skip the next stitch and then go into that next back loop with a single crochet, chain 2. Okay, and then you want to skip the next stitch, go into that next back loop with a single crochet, chain 2. And now you want to join, and I know it's very hard for you to see, but you want to join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet. Okay, so that's what you're going to have at the end of round 1 for the backing. Now round 2, you want to chain 1, and you're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into this first single crochet. So you want to go right into that same stitch, so single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. And then you're going to work 2 single crochet into this chain 2 space right here. So 1 and 2. So in the next single crochet, which is right here, you want to work a single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet. And you'll work this around. So in your chain 2 space, just work 2 singles. And in this chain, or this single crochet here, you'll work your single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Your next space gets 2 singles. And then the single crochet, you'll do a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. And then you have your last chain 2 space, so you'll put 2 single crochet in that. And then what you want to do is make sure you have 16 stitches here on this row. This is a very important row to make sure of that count. And you'll want to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Okay, so if you look at the bottom of it, you want to make sure it looks like a granny square. So you see, this is where we're at right now. You want to make sure it's forming into a granny square, and you have 16 stitches. Okay, so you can go ahead and count those if you would like to. So now round 3, you want to chain up 3 here, so we're going to expand the look of the granny square. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to double crochet. Actually, I don't think I put mine in the right stitch here, but let me get that fixed. Like I said, you just want to make sure you go into that right stitch. Okay. Just a little tedious there. So the next chain 1 space, which is right here, you want to do a double crochet, chain 1, oops, and double crochet. Sorry about that. I know I was out of the camera just a second. All I did was go into that chain 1 space with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And now what you want to do, and it is actually the last single crochet of the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet right here where you just went, you want to start right into that single crochet. So double crochet in that one and in the next 3. So you'll have 4 doubles in a row. So 2, 3, 4. And that will bring you to your next chain 1 space. Okay, so be careful when you're doing this not to put the double crochet into that single crochet. And if you're not careful, you will put it right here. You don't want it there. You got to move that post over and go right into that chain 1, because that's where you're going to miss your stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet right into the chain 1. And then you want to scooch that over a bit so you can get into that single crochet. So put your 4 doubles in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now you're in your next corner. So work that double, chain 1, and double, making sure you're in the chain 1 and not that single crochet. Okay, so now working in that single crochet, you'll start with your first double and then work 3 more doubles in a row, that is, because all you're doing now is making a basic granny square at the bottom. Alright, and so now you're at your next corner. So you want to work a double, chain 1, and double. Now you should have 3 stitches left, starting in that single crochet, so you'll put a double there and double in the next or the last 2. Join into the top of that chain 3. Okay, and if you look at the bottom, you've got yourself a granny square forming. Okay, now round 4, you're just going to do a chain 3. And this is where it's going to get fun, in my opinion. Others may think it's technical. So actually, I will join you up here in just a second. Okay, so again, now we're going to start round 4, and like I said, this is the fun round for me, and this is where this whole square or motif comes into perfect shape. So what I did is chained 3 here, and let me explain real quick the difference here in this round. Your petal B in the description is going to be your top layer of flowers. Petal C will be your bottom level of flowers. Okay, so you're going to be alternating these. So chain 3, and then you want to double crochet now into the next double crochet, and that will bring you to your chain 1 space. Now you want to double crochet into that space. Okay, and what you're going to do is drop your loop. You're going to pull it up and just drop it. Now you're going to take your first petal of petal row B, which is your top row, which is this petal. You want to just go through the tip, which is going to be your slip stitch, and have 2 loops on your hook. And then you want to pick your piece back up and insert your hook through that dropped loop as well. Make sure you pull the tension, and then you're going to pull your D color through the tip of the petal. Okay, chain 1, and then double crochet back into that same chain 1 space on the square. And what that does is it's going to give your flower that little bit of a twisted look as far as the petal goes. Okay, and it connects it to the square. Now you want to double crochet in the next 3 double crochet, but you also want that first one to go into the post that's connected to that chain, the first corner here. So go into that first one. So 1, 2, 3. Now what you want to do here is you want to drop this loop, and we're going to pick up the next petal available from round ring C. It's hard to get the terminology correct with this one because there's so much to say. So the next petal, this is from our C petals. So you're going to do the same thing, insert your hook through the tip, and then go back into the loop you dropped, pull it through. And that's all you want to do here. You're only going to chain 1 when you're in the corners, okay? So now you're going to double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. That will now bring you to your next corner. So we're just going to start now repeating ourselves. So now you want to double crochet into this corner. Alright, now you're going to drop that loop, and now you want to pick up this next petal from petal row B. So go into the tip. We don't want all 3 of those, we want 2. Okay, and go back and pick up that dropped loop. Pull that through. And because this is a corner, we're going to chain 1. And now go back into that chain 1 space and add that second double crochet. Alright, so double crochet into the next 3. So 1, 2, 3. Drop that loop. Grab your next petal from petal ring C this time. So you're just going to be alternating your petals. So I'm going to pick up my drop loop now and pull it through. And now we're going to double crochet in the next 3 again. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're at our corner. So you want to put the first double in there, drop the loop, and I did my flamingo. Now I'm going to do my lighter pink. Okay, so now we're just going to pick up the drop loop, pull through, chain 1, and double crochet back in the chain 1 space. Double crochet in 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Drop that loop, pick up the next petal, and pick up the loop. Pull through. Double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you're at your next corner, so double crochet, drop the loop, pick up the next petal, pick up the loop, pull through, chain 1, and double crochet back in your chain 1. Okay, so we're at the final stretch here, so you want to do 3 doubles in a row. 1, 2, 3. Drop that loop and pick up your final petal here. Get your dropped loop. And pull through. And now all you're just going to do is double crochet into that last stitch. Then you want to join into the top of that chain 3. And that is how it comes together. Beautifully beautiful. Love how it's worked. And that is your round 4 of the actual granny square part. Okay, so round 5 we are going to start working front and back post double crochets to give it the rib look. So you want to start off with a chain 3, and this is going to count as our first back post double crochet. So now you want to front post double crochet around the next stitch, and then just back post around the next one. So you're just going to be alternating. Okay, so now what you want to do is work 2 doubles, a chain 1, and 2 doubles in the next chain 1 space. So you're at your corner, so you're going to put 2 doubles, and you're just working right into the chain 1 here. Chain 1, 2 doubles, right into that chain 1 space. Okay, so now you want to front post double crochet around this next double, which is still part of the corner. So front post double here, and then back post double around the next. So you will work that all the way across. So front post, back post, front post, back post, front post, and back post. Okay, and then now you're back to your chain, your corner here. So now you want to do 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles. Okay, so this is what you're going to do all the way around your square. So just work that around, and we will meet up at the beginning chain 3. Okay, I'm at the end of my row now. I've gone all the way around. I'm just going to simply join into the top of that chain 3, and you have your completed round 5. So now we are going to start with round 6. You're going to chain up 3 here, and you're just going to front post double crochet around the next stitch, back post around the next stitch, front post around the next one, which is getting into the corner stitches, and back post around that next corner stitch. That's going to bring you to your corner. So then you're just going to simply do like before and put 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet into that chain 1 space. Okay, so then you'll work this around for this complete row. Then you'll go around this first double with a front post, and then you'll work a back post. And you will just work this around this complete square. Join in the top of your beginning chain 3 once you have completed this row. And just wait for me there, and we will move on to the next row. I'll meet you up. Okay, so now the last row, and this is the row you should be either using your 5th color, or like I said, I will be resorting back to my actual 3rd color, which is the flamingo pink color. So you want to take that color and go right into the first stitch, which is your back post. So just pull that through as a slip stitch. It'll make it easier. Now we're going to be working clusters. So you want to go back into that same stitch. Wrap your yarn and go back into the same stitch. Grab your yarn, pull up. Yarn over again. Go back into that same stitch and pull that through. Yarn over, pull them all through. Pull through all those loops. So now you're going to chain 1. You're going to skip the front post, double crochet, and we are only working in back post double crochet. So go into that next back post double crochet and work your cluster. So you'll just be working clusters around this row in each back post double crochet. And Charlie joined us here. Just in case you're wondering where are those feet's coming from. Say hi, Charlie. Tell everybody hi. Yeah, okay, well, go back to sleep. So you want to make sure and chain 1 in between your clusters. So skip the front post and go into the back post. So go into the stitch first and then pull up. Yarn over, go back in, pull your yarn up, yarn over, go back in, pull your yarn up. And then just pull through all of those and chain 1. So then you'll go into the next one and do the same. And then when you get to your corners, all you will do is work a cluster. So put a cluster into that chain 1. And you hear my new little Buster cat. We knew when we took in, he's digging in my buttons. So then chain 1 and then put another cluster right into the same chain 1 space. And that will be how you complete each corner. Okay, so chain 1 and then you will just skip the next double crochet and go right into the next back post double crochet. And you will just keep working that around. And that will be all there is to completing this beautiful, beautiful square. So you don't need to see me complete this row. I have my finished one here. So this is all you do. You will join to the top of that beginning cluster once you're finished. Make sure all your ends are woven in. And again, to join these, you can just join them by a single crochet according to the instruction. And then the instructions for the bordering of the entire afghan is just simple doing the border like we have done on each square. You will just do the same border all the way around the whole afghan. So that is it for this beautiful, beautiful, what I like to call 3D pattern, because the flower actually stands up off the square. So the Passion Star flower throw is absolutely elegant and beautiful, and again, it is an intermediate pattern. So if you need to brush up on your skills before tackling this one, I would very much advise you to do so. So I hope you guys enjoyed working this with me. Until next video, happy hooking!